Hey guys, let's talk about something that I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to talk about here for the past few days, about YouTube changing the monetization partner program, changing the eligibility requirements for it. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this. I've been wanting to talk about it, but I wanted to get some facts straight, do some research first. So I want to share with you guys some of my opinion and some things I've been learning about this, what it means for us. Yes, you can still absolutely make money on YouTube, even as a small creator. That hasn't changed. Your ability to grow hasn't changed. There's no one like holding you back. There's just a few things that have changed, and really, yeah, it feels like a big deal, but I want to talk with you guys through how you should think about this, where hopefully it won't be as big of a deal for you as maybe you feel like it is. What I'm going to do here is, for those of you guys who are watching the replay of this, in case you don't know, there's an awesome feature where you can watch in faster speed. So click on the gear icon on desktop or in the three little dots in the upper right corner on mobile and change the playback speed. You can change it to 1x, 2x, and get through this a lot faster. If you guys are watching this live, I do want to take a lot of questions and I want to answer a lot and dig into this with you guys here. What we're going to do first of all is I just want to record this as a podcast for tomorrow. While you are listening to this, though, share your questions in the chat. Please submit them there. And my producer, Trina, is in the chat, and she will be taking your questions and giving them to me then at the end of after I'm kind of through my speech, so to speak, and kind of go through it. And then we're going to dive into all your questions and talk about how this applies to you and your channel specifically, and really help you guys out the best we can. So you guys ready to jump in? Let me get the podcast going here, and we'll dive in. Hello creators, how are you guys? It's great to hang out with you again for another Video Creators Podcast episode like we do every Tuesday here on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. We got a great conversation with you guys here. We want to talk about everything that's happening with YouTube's changing, demonetizing, everything, all the updates to the eligibility requirements for the YouTube Partner Program. I know it's created a lot of concern, a lot of discouragement, a lot of controversy, a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of everything. And what I want to do is I did some research, and I want to dig into the actual facts. Now, I know with something like this, it's very easy to have like an emotional response. Because, I mean, it feels like YouTube's taking something from you. It feels like, man, you were working so hard to get to this certain point, and then you got to that point, you're just about to get to that point, and YouTube's like, and I know how frustrating that is. And so what I want to do is kind of separate all the questions, the conspiracies, and the drama from the actual facts of what's happening and what it means for us as creators. And I think that you'll find that this whole thing, although it is a big deal and it will impact some people, at the end of the day, you still have complete control over what happens on your channel and how much money you make and how much it earns and what happens as a result of all of this. So let's dig into this together. And then for those of you listening to the podcast, I am live streaming this right now on my channel. And so at the end, we'll do some Q&A and talk with some people about some things specifically on their channel. And you guys are in the chat, leave those questions. Trina will take them out and we will talk about all of them here at the end. If you're not familiar with what's going on here, first of all, let's just kind of set the stage here. Last week, YouTube, they changed their YouTube Partner Program. They said to better protect creators, and you guys have probably already seen this. There's links to this, all these articles down in the show notes. You can read exactly what YouTube said and what they're doing. The short version is that advertisers have for a little while now, they've been saying, we don't feel comfortable spending money on your platform because our money gets put in front of content that we don't want to be supporting. And worse yet, we don't want people associating like, hey, this brand supports this content because they have a commercial on the front of it. They don't want that perception. So they don't want to be in front of like kid content that is completely inappropriate. They don't want to be in front of anything that has to do with like racism and terrorism and violence and those types of things, which I think that makes sense. Like no one can fault a company for wanting to spend their ad dollars in front of the type of content that they want to spend it on. Like that's their prerogative. And so they can either spend it on YouTube or spend it elsewhere. YouTube says we want to make this a platform where every advertiser feels like they have enough control, enough safety to say we want to spend money on that platform because we get a good return and we feel good about doing that. And so YouTube's been making a lot of changes, whether that's changing the eligibility requirements for the partner program, hiring 10,000 new human moderators for the site, a lot of different things that they've been doing. The latest one is they've been finding that there's a lot of channels who are just kind of ruining it for the rest of us, maybe so to speak, and that they're spam channels. They create an account and they start uploading stuff that breaks YouTube's community guidelines. And because everyone used to be, you could just monetize your content from the very beginning. Advertisements would start rolling on that content, and advertisers be like, "Why are we paying to support this trash or this garbage?" We don't want people associating our brand with that content. And so YouTube said, we understand. We want you to make sure you keep spending money here so that this site can continue to grow, so we can keep paying creators, because remember, like a lot of people are upset at YouTube thinking YouTube's taking away money from them. But remember, it's as a revenue split. So the only time Google and YouTube gets paid is when you get paid. If you're not getting paid, YouTube's not getting paid, right? So it's a revenue split. So, a lot of people are mad at Google, but if you're going to be mad at anyone, be mad at the advertisers. But personally, I don't think we should be, because I think their request is completely legitimate. And as someone who's a business owner myself, I can understand exactly where they're coming from. So YouTube's been making a lot of changes. They're pioneering this. No one's ever figured out this territory before. This is the first time this type of territory has ever been pioneered by anyone online, the internet, online video, advertising, all that, right? So they're trying to figure this out, and they're doing the best that they can. So YouTube makes these changes, and one of the things is, we see that in order to prevent someone from just creating a channel, uploading spam content or inappropriate content that kind of gets through our algorithms and our automated systems that are supposed to detect this stuff, and people are getting really tricky, some of it's slipping through. We're just going to say that unless you now have 4,000 hours of watch time on your channel and 1,000 subscribers, that you just can't monetize your content. So this creates a lot of issues for creators, because if you don't have 4,000 minutes of watch time in the past 12 months, or 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months, nor do you have 1,000 subscribers on your channel, you don't meet one or both of those requirements, you are no longer eligible for the YouTube Partner Program starting at, February 20th, I believe? Yeah, February 20th. And so this hurts a lot of people because, according to YouTube's post, they're saying, hey, these channels total to date, it says 99% of those affected were making less than $100 a year in the last year, with 90% earning less than $2.50 in the last month. And so that's why I kind of feel like this isn't an actual revenue loss issue. I know it feels like it is, but it's more of an emotional hit of what I was working for, I can no longer attain, or now it just seems so far out there. And even though maybe you actually haven't received a paycheck yet from Google, at least you could see you were building towards it. And now whatever number you're at is kind of put on pause until you meet these other requirements, and then you can start building towards again. It just feels like it's someone put their foot in the door and been like, you know what, you can't come in right now. You can maybe come in later, So it's more of an emotional one than an actual financial one. But emotions are legit, right? They're real. We feel those. Those mean something. And those are absolutely, appropriate. So what I want to do is kind of just walk you guys through a few things of what this change means. Kind of addressing some of the conspiracy theories, the accusations been thrown out, and kind of talk about those most popular ones. And if there's more of them you guys want to talk about here at the end, I'm happy to jump into those with you. But the first point, though, I think is a lot of small YouTube creators feel like YouTube is abandoning them. And I don't think this is YouTube abandoning small creators at all. I think YouTube needs to make companies feel like they're not supporting inappropriate content with their advertising dollars. And now that means like you need to have your channel manually reviewed in order to get into the partner program, not just an automatic, yes, you're in. Yes, we're gonna start putting ads on your videos. There's just too many people creating those spam channels. And so they're trying to react to that. And unfortunately, sometimes there's a group of irresponsible people that ruin it for the rest of us, right? Like you don't have to look very far in the world to see where else that applies, whether that be government, airport security, or whatever, right? Like that's just kind of the way it happens. And I'm sorry for that. And I hate that part. But YouTube is not at all abandoning small creators. A second thing, a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, this is all about Logan Paul. He ruined it for the rest of us because he uploaded that inappropriate video and he took it down and it got through all of YouTube's systems. And so now, there's a reaction against that, and I think the timing of this announcement may feel like it's the fault of maybe larger creators who have recently violated YouTube's community guidelines and advertisers' trust. But really, like a change like this at YouTube doesn't come that quickly. They don't move that quickly. I don't want to say this out loud, but I kind of like you're kind of giving them too much credit to say that they could make this kind of a big policy change that quickly. Now, I do see them trying to become more nimble and quick, but a policy change like this has been in the works for a long time, and it long before Logan Paul's stuff. And it doesn't even make sense that this would be a reaction to Logan Paul because none of these changes even affect or impact him or larger channels in the first place. They do have more than 1,000 subscribers. They do have more than 4,000 hours of watch time on their channels. And so like this type of thing doesn't even affect or impact them. So if this was a move against that, it's like, it doesn't even make sense. Like it's just totally like misses, like it can't be like it just has nothing to do with that. Now, there are other consequences for those channels, like getting community guidelines strike against your channel, and then also getting knocked out of some of the premium advertising rates that those creators get and things like that. But this is not a move against Logan Paul, so don't blame him. I don't think it has anything to do with that. Number 3, I think is hopefully encouraging to you that a small creator's opportunity for growth on YouTube hasn't changed. There is still just as much potential as ever before to grow your channel and get discovered. I've seen a lot of creators saying that they're scared that, well, if my videos aren't monetized, then YouTube's not going to promote them as much because they're just about making money. And why would they promote my video if there's another video that is monetized? Like they're not going to promote the videos that aren't monetized. They say the algorithm favors videos that are monetized. That's just completely not true. I understand the logic and where it comes from, and I understand the argument, but I can tell you absolutely 100% with confidence that those two systems, the monetization system and the search and discovery systems, are completely different systems on YouTube. Now, there might be something that there might be something that impacts the search and discoverability of a video that also could impact the monetization of the video. For example, maybe there's something violent in the video and YouTube deems that shouldn't be monetized. And there's also an audience of people who decide that I don't want to watch content that is this violent, so there's a lot of different factors that there could be correlation, but correlation, or that it's not like, the causation and correlation are different things. Right. So I know it could appear that these things are related, but they're actually not. And we get in a lot into that. I think it's outside the scope of this conversation. I don't think I need to prove myself here. Just know that those monetization and discovery systems are separate. YouTube has said that publicly in different live streams and content that they've done as well. So it's not me making that up. That's straight from YouTube and also from the evidence that I've seen as well. So good news is keep making awesome videos, keep serving the people you're trying to reach and the audience you're trying to grow. Keep doing that. That hasn't changed. You can still absolutely hit that 4,000 minutes of watch time and 1,000 subscriber limit to be in the partner program and have your channel reviewed. You still can do it. There's nothing holding you back from doing that. Okay? So you guys got this. You can do this. Number 4, along with that, I hope this is encouraging also. The small creator's opportunity to make money on YouTube hasn't changed either. Now, yes, some creators are no longer no longer eligible for AdSense revenue, but, and I say this to be completely honest, like I know this might hurt and sting a little bit, but I'm just being truthful. Most creators who are affected by this change probably haven't received a paycheck from YouTube yet anyway. And so this move, I know, like we kind of said, like it feels more like an emotional punch with the idea of monetization gone more than an actual loss in revenue type of punch. So thankfully there's still a lot of ways you can make money on YouTube beyond AdSense as a small creator that will make and earn you much more money than AdSense will. And a lot of other people on YouTube have already done the math for you, but just to give you examples, let's say you convert 1% of your audience to supporting you on Patreon or buying a t-shirt from you or something like that. That would even with the small profit margins you might get for selling a t-shirt, that already, will far surpass the amount of money you maybe otherwise would have earned on AdSense. So to give you guys a perfect example, like myself here on YouTube, I know how many of you guys know my full story here, but in January 2013, I was working full-time doing audience development for a company here in Cincinnati on YouTube. And they said, Tim, we love you, but you're going to be losing your job in 6 months. We're shutting it down, that department you're working on. And, you've been great, but, we're just not going to have a job for you. So I started Video Creators. I created this channel January 2nd, 2013. I launched it in February of 2013. And by the time my job ended and all my income was over, I had 3,000 subscribers here on Video Creators, and it was earning June 15th, 2013 was my last day at my old job, and I launched on Video Creators full time because it was earning $10,000 a month with 3,000 subscribers. Now I know that sounds crazy, like Tim, how could you ever do something like that? And it's because of something else I want to talk about here, which we'll get to a little bit more, but it's about building a bigger business model around your channel than just relying on AdSense. It's about putting things in place, revenue streams that you control. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here coming up, but I just want you guys to know that I'm not the only story. I have another friend of mine, and his channel has since grown, tremendously since the story I'm about to tell you about, and he's doing even better. But he had about 80,000 subscribers, and he actually, from the beginning, he kicked himself out of the partner program because he didn't want ads on his videos. So instead, he wrapped a different business model around his channel, around his content that would earn money. And when he had around 80,000 subscribers on YouTube, he was not even running ads on his channel by his choice. And he was still earning enough money to support himself full-time, 2 other full-time people, and 1 other part-time person. Altogether, the 4 of them were working, 3 of them full-time, 1 part-time person on his channel is what his channel was earning with only 80,000 subscribers with like monetization turned off on most of his videos. Now he's got like 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers and is doing even better, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I just want you to know that hasn't changed. You just need to think about this not as just how do I make money from YouTube, but instead you have to think about this, how do I make money on YouTube? Because your audience is valuable. If an advertiser or a sponsor is going to pay to be in front of your audience and split that revenue with YouTube, with you, and also make enough money after all those splits to make sense for them to keep pouring more money into it. Like the only reason that happens is because your audience is making a transaction with these advertisers, which fuels it to keep going. So your audience is going to pay either way. We can get a lot more into that, but I think you guys get the point. Like this is your ability to make and your opportunity to make money on YouTube hasn't changed. Now let's talk about number 5. Point number 5 here that I have is, the features you'll be losing access to. And this is a big concern, I know, for a lot of creators. I'll put a link in the show notes or in the description here of this live stream that goes to the page on YouTube's website, which shows you exactly what you're going to be losing and not losing here. So fortunately, features not affected by the YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements are cards. Creators can still use interactive cards. They say, however, linking to external websites from cards is a feature that currently only available to YouTube Partner Program members. When the YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements are updated on February 20th, 2018, channels that currently have access to those features will continue to have access even if no longer in the YouTube Partner Program. So they'll be building out new, they say we'll be building out new eligibility criteria for this external linking feature. So when this changes on February 20th, you will still have access to link to external websites from your interactive cards, from your end screens and things like that. That's not changing. So it may in the future, maybe they might pop up with some new eligibility. I have a hard time saying that word today. New eligibility criteria coming up. But for right now, when everything changes, you won't lose access to that. You won't lose access to the Creator Studio. That's not even part of the YouTube Partner Program. You will not be losing access to your custom URLs that you have for your channel. That's also not part of the YouTube Partner Program. You will not be losing access to custom thumbnails. You will need to verify your account with a phone just like you would anyway, but that hasn't changed. That's the way it's always been in order to have custom thumbnails. Your end screens, you can still use those. Linking to external websites from end screens is a feature also for YouTube Partner Program members. But again, you will continue to have access to that even if you're no longer in the YouTube Partner Program. Live streaming. You don't need to be part of the YouTube Partner Program to do live streaming. You just need to confirm that your channel is verified and you will have no restrictions on live streaming. Scheduling uploads, that's not part of the partner programs. You won't lose access to that. YouTube Analytics, you won't be losing access to. The only the features that are affected by the YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements is Super Chat and sponsorships. Now, sponsorships is mostly on the YouTube gaming side, although they have been beta testing it outside of YouTube gaming. That's been a little difficult to get into anyway. It's not just something you apply to. So that I don't know how many people who have sponsorships will actually lose that. Super Chat, and I see some of you guys here in the live stream are doing those Super Chats. Thank you so much. I will be jumping in on those here in a second and a little bit later, but the Super Chats, you will lose access to that. So those are the things that you will be losing access to. Not really anything that's going to hinder you from making more money on YouTube, setting a business up, and thinking about your business more as a business owner, or thinking of your channel more as a business owner and less as like an employee, where you're like, you know what, I just come, I put in the hard work, and I work really hard, and at the end of the day, I get a paycheck, and I'm working really hard on YouTube. Why am I not getting a paycheck? You have to think about this, about how do I deliver good value and capture good value in return. And that's what number 6, the 6th point here and final point is really all about for me, which is I really hope all this happening has really helped shift a creator's mindset from one where just working hard and then automatically getting paid to, because that's not how YouTube works. And I think you guys have kind of figured that out by now, because you are working hard and you're like, I'm working really hard for the amount of money that I'm not earning. Right. So on YouTube, you have to think more like a business owner, which is a mindset that is exchanging value for value. It's about delivering good value and then having a plan for capturing good value in return from people on YouTube. So the key here, like I already said, is to make money on YouTube, not just necessarily money from YouTube, but to instead take responsibility for creating a business model that captures good value. And I think, I've been saying that for a very long time here on YouTube. I know other creators, Philip DeFranco and other people have been saying that same thing. You can make a great living on YouTube. That hasn't changed. You can make money on YouTube. It's just that you need to take control of what that looks like and how it works. Here in this channel, my AdSense revenue is great. I take it. It's fine. My AdSense revenue is enough could support me full time. But I have a team of like 6 other people on my team here at Video Creators, not because the AdSense revenue is so good, but because we've developed a system for not only delivering good value to you, hopefully through this channel, through the podcast episodes and Instagram accounts and things like that, but also we have things in place that we capture good value in return. Let me give you an example of this I think is very fitting. Oh, by the way, before I forget, there's a link to another podcast episode down in the show notes. That is my very first podcast episode actually on Video Creators, is how to make money on YouTube as a small creator. And this goes exactly into, I tell my full story of how I set up Video Creators to earn $10,000 a month with only 3,000 subscribers. And I share with you the process and the steps I went through and outline how you can do the same. And so far, thousands of people have listened to that and gotten a lot of help. And it's really helped shift their mindset to know how to actually make money on YouTube. So check that out. But let me give you an example of how I capture good value in return. So I have courses that I sell. I have consulting that I do, clients that I work with. We have a lot of different ways that I help creators grow their channels and make money on YouTube. There's the Video Labs thing that's starting tomorrow that I'm really excited about. I get to work personally with 20 different creators for 8 weeks. But here's a course I think goes along with this exactly. And this is, I think, an example of what you guys should do. You're delivering value, and then you have something that captures good value that's connected directly to the value that you're providing. So we are right now talking about how to make money on YouTube. But here's a course I have on how to turn YouTube into your career. And this is the guy that's actually talking about here on the landing page, if you want to check it out, he's the guy who had 80,000 subscribers and was turned off ads and was still supporting him and a team of people. That's, he's got a testimonial video right on the front of this here. And so this goes through step-by-step process of how to make money on YouTube, how to think like a creator versus a business owner, and setting up all the legal stuff, but also creating the business model, how to implement the things on your channel that will grow revenue, that will attract subscribers, it'll attract sales, it'll attract sponsors. It's interesting that the same thing that attracts subscribers to your channel is the same thing that attracts sales and sponsors. So if you're not attracting subscribers, sales, or sponsors, that would be a session that you'd definitely want to watch. How to create a product that your audience will love, how to sell that in your videos, how to create sales funnels that doesn't kill the SEO value and the discoverability of your channel. Just everything in here, and then how to scale your income. So now once you start supporting yourself, how do you make even more? And it's just... it's in depth. It's helped a ton of people. And there's a link to it in the show notes called Turn YouTube into Your Career. But that's an example, like courses like that, of how I hopefully deliver good value here and then show you guys, like I'm delivering 1x of a specific value through this podcast, through this live stream. And then I have a product that delivers 10x of that same value in a format that people are willing to pay for. And there's like... everyone who has gone through that course has given it 5 out of 5 stars. So Tim's absolutely, people have taken the investment in that course and turned it into thousands of dollars very quickly. In fact, one guy I work with went through it, and he was living full-time on YouTube. He had a few 100,000 subscribers, but he was kind of just barely scraping by with what he was earning. And so he went through it, developed a product, he sold it, and he made about 10 times more in 1 week with his products than he made all year through Adsense the year before on his channel. So I'm not talking Adsense. I think it's great. I think it's a very viable, a great source of income that a lot of creators can take advantage of and use, but it's like icing on the cake when you compare it to what the potential actually is and what you can actually do. So hopefully that gives you an example of how I integrate sales and extra value into my content. And I think you guys can do the exact same thing, whether it's cooking. I'm not saying courses are the answer. I'm just giving you an example. It could be, I actually have a video coming out about this. It could be services. It could be crowdfunding like Patreon. It could be live events where that you do in person at different places around the country or in your hometown or online. It could be physical products. It could be affiliates. Like that's also kind of a form of like marketing someone else's product, but there's just so many. I would encourage you, don't just quickly jump to like, okay, what else can I do to make money and try to come up with a product. You really got to do your homework first. Go reach and figure out, one, what value am I delivering to my target audience? What do they really want from me? Why do they watch my videos? Why do they subscribe to my channel? Why do they keep coming back and watching my videos? What's the value that they're getting from me? Once you figure that out, then you do that. How do I continue to deliver that same value to that same specific target audience, but like 10x that value in a format that they're willing to pay for? So don't just jump straight to Patreon without first doing that due diligence of figuring out the value that people want to pay you for, rather than just kind of jumping to like t-shirts and pens and iPhone cases that have your logo on them and hoping they can make a ton. You might make a little bit, and some people do, but you'll make far more by selling the value that people already are consuming from you and want to consume from you. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys want to see a summary of kind of my thoughts on this, there's another link in the show notes that you can kind of check out. But if you want to learn how to make money on YouTube, you want to know how to grow your audience and really make an impact in people's lives doing it, I mean, that's what this channel is all about. So I'd love to have you subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, and really see you guys really start to kill it with this stuff. Let me jump into the super chats here and some of the questions you guys have, because I know you guys have been asking a lot of good questions, and I kind of want to make sure we hit some of this stuff up for you guys. So first of all, Stefan Steenfoot Aquatics, $5, sending some love, so your support, like and share. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. That's awesome. Manny Oritz, hey man, good to see you. $10. Thanks for your advice during our consultation 5 months ago. I started my new channel and now I'm at 54,000 subscribers. That's awesome. See, you guys can do this. Thank you so much for the $10, Manny. But Manny has a photography channel we worked on together, and he had a lot of problems with his current channel. He started a brand new channel, 54,000 subscribers in 5 months. If you guys, you can do this. Manny did it. You can do it, right? Like, Manny, thank you so much for telling that story. Now, I will say, and I say this humbly, that he did it. We talked through the process. Like, he invested into this. He's like, if I'm going to make money with this, I'm going to do a session with Tim. I spent, I forget how many sessions. I think we did one long session, I think is what happened. Digging into his channel with him and giving him advice. I gave him the exact action plan, the steps that he needed to follow in order to launch this thing. It worked for him. So sometimes I think it is worth making an investment into something that's going to work out well for you, like it did for Manny. But I hope, if nothing else, Manny's story is the example that you guys can do this. 54,000 subscribers in 5 months. That's awesome. Way to go, Manny. The Grandma Chronicles, $10, also super chat. Thank you. How do you write a proposal for Social Bluebook? P.S. praying for Livia. Thank you so much. Livia is my daughter. She's 4 weeks old. She's born blind in her left eye, and she's had surgery last week and is at the doctor right now with my wife, getting checkup and some complications. We're really praying and hoping that she will get sight. If you guys want to check out that whole story, it's over at my family's channel at youtube.com/schmovies, SCHMOVIES. So it's like Schmoyer, but Schmovies. Get it? Yeah. Okay. So, But I actually have a few videos on my channel, The Grandma Chronicles. If you just search for maybe brand deals, or no, search for Media Deck or Media Kit. Search for one of those on my channel. So go to my channel and then click on the magnifying glass. It says videos, playlists, community, that whole tab. Those link, they're at the very right. There's a magnifying glass. Click on that and type in Media Deck. And that will give you the exact process I go through for how I write media decks and sponsorship proposals that will help you on a place like Social Bluebook, but even when you're working with them directly. So go check out that video. One coin only retro gaming, $10. Just showing my support because I always appreciate the help you give us. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that support. It'll help me buy more diapers for Livia. So thank you. Yezid Jimenez, $5. Great point on creating good content is what is important. The options are endless. Thank you, Tim. You're welcome. And I hope that this will be encouraging for you. And thank you for the £5. $5 Canadian, The Crazy Family Show. How does a vlogging channel stand out from an oversaturated market of other vlogging channels? Oh man, this is kind of a little off topic, but let's talk about the monetization side of this, because a lot of people say like, Tim, what you're saying like makes sense if you're in educational content. It makes sense that I could just sell more education or training or something like that. But I don't have an educational channel. I'm like an entertainment channel. So how do I do this? The same exact process follows. In fact, go listen to that podcast episode down there about how to make money on YouTube as a small creator. My very first podcast episode for video creators. Go check that out. Because I share with you the process of how I do that on my family's vlogging channel and how we capture good value financially in return as well as giving good value. And some of those ideas, if that podcast is like a year or two old now, some of those we've done more that have worked even better. But that'll give you an idea of like this, how I took this exact same process and implemented it on an entertainment channel, which would be like gaming or vlogging or skits or comedy or, anything like that, where you're like, how do I do this? What value am I providing? Well, you're actually providing a really strong relational value that could really impact and change a lot of lives. And so anyway, go check that out. But that's what I would do with that. The Arcade Dad, $2. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. How can a family-friendly arcade channel make money? I think it's exactly what I was just talking about. Go listen to that podcast episode. That'll go into more depth. And even through the course, Turn YouTube into Your Career, that also will give you plenty of examples, not just of educational channels, but also of entertainment-based channels. The process applies to both. Really, guys, like I know, like for sometimes we think of this, I'm not saying this is true for you, the Arcade Dad, but for some people, you think of this and you're just kind of like, I don't know how this makes sense for me. I don't know how to do this. The cool thing about this is all really just the only limit here is our own creativity. That's really the only thing that's like limiting us and holding us back. YouTube can't stop us from holding us back. Your camera equipment can't stop you or hold you back. Your personality can't stop you and hold you back. It's just really limited by your own creativity and the limits of that. So give yourself the freedom to think outside the box, try new things that have never been done before. But that podcast episode and things will maybe help you start thinking more on an entertainment level as well. Boone Builds Toy Replay. Hey, Boone, good to see you, man. It's been a while. Boone's used to show up at every single Patreon meeting we did. Once a month on Patreon, we do a Patreon-only hangout where we just hop into a private video call, and we all kind of like share ideas and give feedback and answer questions and things. So, Boone, haven't seen you there for a while, but good to see you here. He says, thanks as always. Your consistent content is one of my greatest encouragements every week to keep going. That's awesome, Boone. Glad I can encourage you. It's about just being creative, staying positive, and looking at the actual facts and not just getting wrapped up in the hype, which I know you, Boone, well enough to know that that's exactly what you do. But that's the name of the game here. The TCAT, $5. Thank you for taking the time to do this, Tim. I'm building a great community, animating people's comments and channeling. That's awesome. Glad that's working out well. And thank you for the $5. And $10 from the Luxury Hybrid. Your daughter is in my prayers first. Thank you. Second, any advice on fashion creators, luxury handbag, and beauty community? If you're asking for advice regarding monetization, I think it's all exactly the same here. It's that process of knowing what the value you deliver and who you're delivering it to, and how do you package that same value in a format that has a price tag. Not just because you're going to capture money from people, but because I have, and I know this sounds contradictory and you guys can get mad at me for saying this, but I'm going to tell you this is the truth. And for me too, not just for you guys, is that I used to do things, I tried to do as many things as I could for free. And I've stopped doing that because what I've learned is that when you give something away for free, people value it very low price tag. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why Manny grew to 54,000 subscribers in only 5 months after doing a session with me, because he paid money. There's something about paying money that's painful. It hurts. And when you pay money, you're more likely to take action and do the things that someone tells you to do that's going to get you to the results that you want to have. So I used to do like nonprofits for free, ministry people for free, military vets, things like that. But I learned that when they just hop into a consultation with me, they're just kind of listening to see, I'll get Tim's opinion and see what he says. And then they really wouldn't do what I told them to do. And then they didn't get the results they want. And then it made me look back. They're like, hey, I did a session with Tim and it didn't really help us. Until I started charging people to do them. And then the more I charged, the more it hurt them. The more it hurt them, the more they did every exact little thing I told them to do. And the more results they got, the better and the happier they were, the better the review was for me. It just served everyone better when I started charging. So don't feel bad about charging your audience money for things, because you'll actually serve them better sometimes by charging money. Now, I'm not saying charging money for everything. That's not, you do want to help and serve people who don't have money. Some people, so that's why I have my podcast. It'll always be completely free. This YouTube channel will always be completely free. But you do need to charge money sometimes in order to make all the free content sustainable long-term, right? And so that's kind of how I look at it. And I think it's absolutely true. I see that with like video labs. The people who pay to go through video labs are far more likely to get the results on their channel by doing the homework assignments, following the process, going through with a hand-holding for me and my team than people otherwise would. So it's awesome. And I think you guys should, anyway, so my advice for the fashion creators anyway is to just follow that process. Listen to that podcast and follow that process. MML commentaries, another $10. Thank you. I can't make videos any faster than 1 video a month because of the amount of time I dedicate to research, writing, and production. Why is high production content so unsustainable? Yeah. So thankfully, I think a good answer to this is coming out from YouTube. They've heard this, and the response is the YouTube Reels feature, which I have. In fact, if you guys want to see my setup of last night I did a whole bunch of reels, setting up my video studio and what it looks like and how I set up the lighting and the sound and the camera and the backdrop and everything. I show you guys exactly how I do that in my reels. But reels I think is going to be interesting because it's going to let people, here I'm going to show, I have a whole video about this. If it's called on my channel, it's called, like what's coming in 2018 or the future of YouTube or something like that. Go check it out. But you can do, it's like basically like your stories format that you're used to. You can just do them right here in your phone. And I think that's going to be a great way to stay in front of your subscribers with quick behind the scenes updates without having to create a fully produced video. You can just use your phone. Hey guys, here's what I'm working on, or hey, I have this question. What do you think? Or just getting in front of your audience with very quick content without having to make a fully produced video in order to pull that off. So I think Reels is going to be one solution. Another solution to post to your YouTube channel is finding other types of in-between content you do. Maybe you're going to have teasers that you're going to post. Maybe it's going to be a behind the scenes. Maybe you're going to do a live stream Q&A. Maybe you're going to do interviews. Maybe you're just going to show your process or just whatever, something that you're going to use those in-between videos. So rather than doing one a month, you're going to make these other videos that are much quicker to produce. Maybe they're like more like live action type content. And you're going to be publishing those on your channel maybe once a week and using those to build momentum so that when you do publish that one big high production quality video once a month, there's already some pressure in the can, like pressure in the can. I don't even know what that means. There's still some there's people who are excited, who are ready to watch it or waiting for that. A good example of someone who does this is, now they do a little bit of a different format, but Epic Rap Battles of History, the way that they would only do like a season for 13, and their content would take like a year or so to develop. So they would take a year to develop like 13 videos or so. And then they would start posting teasers one after another of just like quick clips. And then they had like the date coming August 23rd, whatever. And so you knew like, okay, like it's getting their subscriber base re-engaged, building momentum. They launched that first one. It would go like millions and millions of views. And then each week they would publish a new one, keep that momentum going until like this big epic video at the end. And then that would be their whole season. So, and then they would stop for, the next 7 months or something. So you could do that way. I don't know if that's something I would recommend for everyone. I think it works for them. I'm not sure that that's a proven process that works for everyone. But again, your creativity is kind of the limit there. Dark Horse, $5. Tim, very best to you and your family as always. Thank you, Dark Horse. I really, really, really appreciate that one. Vlogger, $5. Again, thank you. You guys, I can't believe this. You guys are blowing me away. What's up, small creators? Join the 30-day Adpocalypse Challenge movement to help reach your goals. Don't give up. Let's support each other. Cool. I don't know what that challenge is about, but hopefully it's helping people and you guys are reaching your goals. So thank you, Vlogger. I really appreciate that. Let's talk about some of these other questions here. Daniel, Derek, Will, you have to maintain the 4,000 hours of watch time to be part of the program. You need 4,000 hours of watch time on your channel, total accumulated from during the past 12 months. So you don't need it all in one video. You don't need it all just 1 month. You just need it total accumulated 4,000 hours within the span of 12 months. That's what you need to hit. Dr. Dudero, will this affect channels who will talk about religion? Maybe. I don't think it really has an impact on the topic. It just has an impact on your stats. So now I do think that the 1,000 subscriber mark is kind of that, like the 4,000 hours of watch time. I get that. That makes total sense. That's like proving that people want to watch your content and you're publishing valuable content that people want to watch. And that indicates that your channel is a lot more likely to be safe and advertiser friendly than a channel that's, doesn't have as much watch time. The 1,000 hours though, that's a little bit harder because I feel like there's a lot of, especially kid related content. Like there's a lot of channels that are kid related that have crazy amounts of watch time and views, but very low subscribers because 2-year-olds don't subscribe to channels, right? So that's, I think, going to be a little bit trickier, but YouTube, one thing I know about YouTube is they don't do anything arbitrarily. They always test things. They are data geeks. They are big, huge buildings full of the world's top engineering nerds. So anything and everything they do is based on data. And even the way they post their announcements sometimes it just feels a little bit more data driven than heart driven, which creates a lot of problems. So I think they're trying to get better at that, but but at least it's data driven. So, it's actually like factual. So, I know those aren't arbitrary numbers for them. So, but I don't think it should have any impact because you're a gaming channel versus a religious channel versus a diet health channel, anything like that. Caribbean Girl Flow, what is the YouTube Partner Program? The YouTube Partner Program is when YouTube splits the ad revenue with you on your channel that your videos earn and gives you, typically it's like a 55-45 split, 55 going to you and 45% going to YouTube, but you'd have to read your terms of service and agreements that you agree to see what it actually is, but that's typically about what it is. Sculpted Nostalgia. After the February deadline of you don't make it, can you ever be able to monetize? Yeah, absolutely. All you have to do is reach that threshold of 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months and 1,000 subscribers on your channel. You submit your channel for review and a human will look at it and be like, bing, yes, good job. Your channel's awesome. Monetization is enabled. You can then enable monetization on your channel where, advertisers can then start placing ads against your content and you split the revenue with YouTube. Now remember, like some people have been saying like, it's not fair. YouTube's just taking away money from the little guys and they're just going to be making all that money for themselves now. No, there's no money happening. There's no money being earned on the quote little guys. There's no ads running, period, because YouTube, the whole point here is that YouTube doesn't know if this content is advertiser friendly or not. So if the only time YouTube starts making money, the only time when you start making money, that's when YouTube starts making money off your content. YouTube's not making money off of your videos unless you also are making money off your videos. It's a revenue split. That's the only way it happens. DTD Rider, live stream watch time counts too. I assume so because it's channel watch time and, so I don't know for sure, but I would assume so based on the wording that I've heard. Ismail Janels, 1,000 subscribers is required for the past 12 months, like 4,000 hours of watch time or for lifetime. No, it's past 12 months. I think 1,000 subscribers is just whenever you hit it. Once you hit that 1,000 subscribers, you hit it. There's not like a time duration on that as much as there is on the 4,000 hours of watch time, which needs to happen in the past 12 months. Leather Rock, do you think we should pursue YouTube's competition? And if so, would we be limited or confined to exclusive agreements, meaning not spread out in a bunch of platforms? So I actually have another video on my channel that addresses that topic. It's titled, let me go check it out real quick because I don't remember exactly. It's kind of knowing when to abandon YouTube. Or leave YouTube or something like that. And that video goes into more details about that. I'm looking on my video manager here. I don't see it right. I don't take the time. Just look for that video. It's like knowing when to abandon YouTube or here it is. Knowing when to abandon YouTube and move elsewhere. That's the title of the video. So check that one out. And that'll answer that question. But the short version of that is, YouTube's an amazing platform for our subscribers, for our viewers. It works amazingly well for them. They click play, the video starts instantly. They can watch it wherever they're at. With YouTube Red, they can download your videos and watch them offline. They get to interact and comment. They can share your videos. Like for the user's perspective, YouTube is amazing. They're just trying to figure out some of this back end stuff for creators. And if you go to another platform, like they're just going to, if they end up growing to YouTube size, they're going to hit the exact same problems and issues that YouTube has. So I don't think like the grass is greener on the other side. I don't think it is. I think, you might as well stick it through with YouTube because they're not going anywhere. A lot of people like years ago left YouTube for Blip.tv. I don't know if any of you guys have been around long enough to remember that, but Blip.tv was the thing that Maker Studios was going to blow up. It was going to be the next big YouTube. It folded, went under, shut down. Just recently, as in like a few months ago, everyone was going to vid.me. You guys remember that? And then vid.me, because they had a partner program and they were like, hey, we don't censor you. Come here to our platform. It was not sustainable. They couldn't keep the doors open. They shut down. And the thing is, all the creators who were who banked on vid.me or blip.tv or MetaCafe or any of all these other big sites, when their sites shut down, you lose everything. It's tremendously risky to go all in on another platform like that, or even just to diversify your content. Now, I have no problem diversifying content. YouTube is my main platform because I think it's proven to be credible. It'll be here. It's not going anywhere. It's solid. But I also put my videos on Facebook, on facebook.com/video creators. I'm also doing things on Instagram. I'm also looking into Amazon Prime and some of these other things. Like, I'm open, right? I don't have all my eggs in one basket, but I am not like abandoning YouTube and going elsewhere by any means. So, that's the competition. You can look into it, but I am just cautious. YouTube is my main platform, and I think with all its problems, it's still the best platform out there for growing an audience around video. Jacob Flack, should we start building our subscriber on? Oh yeah, I kind of just answered that same question. Okay, Alex and Alexis, where do you check your watch hours? Go to your YouTube analytics, youtube.com/analytics, and you can see an overview there. It will show you by default for the past 28 days, but the upper right corner, you can change the drop-down menu from 28 days to, you just set it for the last 12 months, last year, just change it, and then you'll see how, it'll show you in minutes, so you'll have to divide it by 60 to get hours, and that's how you see that. Shannon, hey Shannon, good to see you. Hey Tim, any thoughts on how YouTube will allocate the YouTube Red revenue attributed to small non-monetizable channels? I don't have any information. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know that question. I think it would be awesome if the YouTube Red revenue still went to the small creators, but I don't know. My assumption is that they will not get that, and that none of the YouTube Red money will go to them just because they're not part of the YouTube Partner Program. And if you're not part of the Partner Program, you're not in YouTube's system in order to get paid. So you would have to be in the YouTube Partner Program to get YouTube Red revenue. So my guess is that that won't, unless there's something behind the scenes that YouTube is done differently, I don't think that that would apply. $5 from Amanda. Thank you so much for the £5. Amanda's allotment. I've gained almost 100 extra subscribers in 5 days. Just need under 300 to reach my 1,000, and I'm okay on watch time. Please give me a shout out to help me out, Amanda. I love your the drive, the push that you have, and you putting in £5. I don't know what that converts to dollars, but I don't care. Thank you. And that's the type of push and drive that that you need. So guys, go subscribe to Amanda's channel, Amanda's allotment, and go support her and give her that extra couple hundred subscribers she needs to pass that threshold and help another creator stay monetized. Cool. Former Gorilla, how would YouTube not choose to grandfather those who have already earned monetization who will be stripped of it when the new requirement takes effect? So former Gorilla, you're not being stripped of of the money you've already earned. That'll stay in your account and it'll just stay there until you are able to reapply for the partner program and start earning money again. So they're not taking anything from you. Why they're choosing not to grandfather in other channels, I don't know. Maybe there's just like a crazy amount of big numbers of channels that they have to manually review and they can't do it. I don't know why they're not grandfathering in. I think that would be awesome if they did, but they're not. So I don't know why. But don't think you're getting stripped. Like that money is not, that money's just going to stay in your account until you start monetizing again. So Trones. How about gaming? They are ad friendly. Yeah, same. All these principles apply to gaming versus any other niche. Rich, how about gaming channels? Same thing. Should be reading these a little bit better, huh? Vlogger, has it been confirmed that if we will be losing our ability to live stream / create our own thumbnails if you lose the partner program? Yes, it has been confirmed, and there's a link in the show notes here that'll take you exactly over to Google's page that shows that you will not be losing access to any features except for super chats and sponsorships. Those are the only two, not sponsorships you do with other brands, but YouTube's official sponsorship feature, which is where people can pay a few bucks a month to sponsor you and your channel. But those are the only two features you'll lose access to. Let's see here. If you are not monetized, do they still run ads on your channel? Diane Powell. No ads. If you're not monetized, there's no ads running. So no one's spending money on your channel. No one's earning money on your channel. There's just no money. So all your viewers get to watch all your content ad free, which is kind of a cool perk for them. Video Game Maniac. Is it important to build a reputation and fan base first? Once you get that 1,000 subscribers and you reach that 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months, I think that's plenty of audience for you to start monetizing. I wouldn't put it off later than that. You can absolutely start monetizing your audience before then with a business model that you set up for your audience, and you'll make a lot more money doing that anyway. But but that will happen. People will actually start paying you when you do have a reputation with them. So you'll know when you have a reputation and a fan base when you start earning the money that when you're delivering accurately the same value that you're presenting through your channel. Whimsy Quest, does content declaration hurt your getting seen in any way? No. But content declaration, you're checking that box in the advanced tab when you upload saying that this content is sponsored. I have a financial relationship or affiliate relationship or something with the person who, like with the brand that this video is about. And that doesn't impact anything. As far as discoverability. What that impacts is there's some brands who are sensitive and they don't want to put their advertisement in front of a video that's potentially just another advertisement for maybe a competitor or someone else. So that option gives advertisers the option of just not running their ads against content that have that box checked. And in my opinion, and from what I've seen, it doesn't really impact revenue or CPMs or anything. I haven't seen it make any difference really. It's just kind of a courtesy to those brands. So go ahead and check it. It doesn't hurt. Poking holes. You said videos would not be less visible if not monetized, but what about when flagged as not suitable for advertisers and monetization is removed while under review? Is that making it less visible? There's a lot of analytic stats being tweeted and pushed out there, and there's a lot of cases that look like, and remember I talked a little bit earlier in this episode about correlation versus causation. Or it looks like the causation is that if your video gets flagged to not be suitable for all advertisers, which I haven't seen that happen now that I think about it. I haven't seen that happen on my channels for a long time now. I wonder if it's still happening on you guys. I've seen less and less of that happening, which is awesome. It might still be happening and people are just like kind of over it and just accepting it now. I don't know. But according to YouTube's official statement that there is no connection between the search and discovery systems and the monetization systems. So if your video is demonetized or not suitable for all advertisers, remember, it says, what is it? It's not suitable for all advertisers is not the same as saying it's suitable for no advertisers. There's just some advertisers who don't want to be, like, they don't want to be in front of anything potentially risky. So if your video is deemed potentially risky, that doesn't mean you're not going to get advertisers on it. It doesn't mean you're not going to make money from it. There's some people who do want to be in front of that audience. Some advertisers who will pay to be on that. And it's just saying they're not suitable for all advertisers. So it's not like you're not getting money on that video or you're lost all your income from it just because that's on there. So like, just remember, like, make sure, like, let's not get all hyped up again. Remember, like, I'll be like, oh no, I'm not getting money. No, you're just not getting, it's just some advertisers aren't on there. That's all. Others still are. And so YouTube says those monetization systems and things are completely separate. So the graphs that people have showing like, hey, look, this is when my video is labeled as not suitable for all advertisers. And then look at the views. They tanked at the exact same spot. And I have seen a lot of people sharing those types of graphs. I don't have any information on that. The options are either YouTube is lying and just intentionally, willfully deceiving people, I don't think that makes good business sense for them. I don't think that, I've never seen them do that before. So I have no reason to doubt their credibility on that response. Their answer is that there's a lot of factors that go into monetization and discoverability, and sometimes the same triggers happen to be related, but they aren't necessarily related. And by that I mean like there's triggers, like I kind of gave the example earlier about like violence versus, some people don't want to watch that content, just like some advertisers don't want to be in front of it, so that type of thing. So I don't have anything for you on that. Another super chat from Dan Willis, $2, 850 subs in my first month. Tips on my thumbnails. We're not going to go look at your thumbnails right now, but I do have plenty of videos about thumbnails. So just search my channel for thumbnails and you'll learn a lot from those free videos. Josh Harmick, $5. Thank you, you guys. Seriously. When you share your YouTube video on Facebook, do those views on Facebook count towards your YouTube views as well? Technically, yes, embedded views on Facebook count towards view counts, but they don't necessarily carry the same weight as far as watch time is concerned, because it's a different viewing experience on Facebook than it is on YouTube. On YouTube, there's other videos to click away. There's advertisements. On Facebook, that's not there as much. And so YouTube doesn't make an apples-to-apples comparison of views from embedded views as the same as views on the watch page of YouTube. So personally, I just upload all my videos directly to Facebook. I don't try to get people from Facebook over to YouTube. It's just hard to do that, and people on Facebook prefer to watch. They're already on Facebook, so just like I'm more interested in delivering the value to people where they're at than I am trying to convert everyone from Facebook over to YouTube. So that's how I do it. Hutch, £5. Thank you. Love your videos, Tim. I use your tips to gain 2,500 subscribers, but I'm still under the watch time threshold. Oh, man. Hope you get there, Hutch. Please give me a shout out. The watch time is all about your hooks and the quality of the stories and the value that you're delivering. That's really what it comes down to. So better titles, better thumbnails, better hooks, first 15 seconds, and then actually delivering on what the title, thumbnail, and hook pitch to the viewer so that their attention is captured. Breezy Natural, $5. I have almost 350 subs now and over 90,000 views. How do I get to 1,000 subs by February? I use the ad revenue to help me know what my videos are valuable. Look at watch time to determine value, not money. Watch time is a much better metric of determining the value of your content. So check. So that's what I would do is switch and looking at that. Jay-Z Crazy, can I sell my own ads on my videos if my channel is not monetized? And no, you cannot sell ads on your videos even when your videos are monetized. Now, it depends what you mean by ads. If you mean by sponsorships, yes, you can still do that. That's done outside YouTube. You can still do sponsors. If there's someone who wants to pay you to be in front of your audience, absolutely. If you want to develop a product to sell to your audience, absolutely. But you can't create an ad like a 15-second bumper that you burn on the beginning of your video before you upload it. You can't do that. You can't burn in mid-roll. Anything that replicates an existing ad format on YouTube, you can't replicate that in any way in your content. So that will break the terms of service and get your I think that's like a termination if you do that. So don't do that. We're going to cut this off, guys. It's been awesome hanging out with you. Check the links in the show notes here for more information. But I really just want to encourage you guys that you can do this. You can take control of your channel, of your income, of your growth. You can do this. I want you to continue to reach people and impact their lives with the message that you're spreading and continue to make a difference. And don't give up just because there's an emotional gut punch of losing some, a few dollars now for a little bit of time. You guys, you're going to make far more than this in the long run. So keep going, and you'll look back at this and be like, oh, that was nothing. Wasn't a big deal. I think this time next year, you'll look back and that's absolutely what you'll be thinking. So guys, keep going. I want to encourage you to keep doing this. You can do this. And just thank you, all of you, for your support of being here, hanging out with me, and for all of your super chats. I hope we've answered all your questions. Looking forward to seeing comments on the replays of this, and looking forward to hanging you guys out. We got new episodes, new hangouts we're going to be doing every Monday afternoon. So make sure you enable notifications to get those new ones when we do them. Also, there's a lot of other news stories that happen that we didn't talk about today. My patrons, they get access to those. I'll be posting for you guys later today or tomorrow. Links to all the other important news stories that have been happening in the online video industry that we didn't talk about today. This one just kind of overshadowed all of them. But you guys are patrons. You'll stay up to date on that stuff. So I'll post that for you. If you're not a patron, I'd love to have you become one and just kind of join the insider community at patreon.com/video creators. New content, behind the scenes stuff, lots of cool stuff going up there for you guys. So looking forward to hanging out with you there on a more personal level for you patrons. And thank you guys for being a part of this awesome community. Go out there and change lives. And I will see you guys tomorrow for our next video. See you then.